Well, one thing in doing a big project, like looking at racial representation in Congress, there are a lot of different steps you go through in doing a big project like this in terms of your research method. And one thing in that project, that started out as a much smaller project that had to do with understanding the dynamic of candidates emerging in a congressional election. And it was from that study that the bigger questions presented themselves about how racial interests are represented in congressional politics. And it was through this smaller study of candidate emergence then that I became interested in the big questions of racial representation. And so it sort of developed in a step-by-step way like that after looking at the candidates and seeing these real differences in their representational styles, the question then presented itself, well, is this systematically true? Is this true across all congressional districts in a way that then can be seen in roll call voting, in the speeches they make on the floor, in the way they send out their newsletters to the district? And so in doing this broader research then, my research assistants and I coded thousands of speeches that they made and the newspaper stories in their districts and looked at their roll call votes to see how they differed across the styles of representation. And so there was a lot of collecting of this large data set to look at different aspects of representation from their behavior on the floor, in committees, in the speeches they made, but also then how they represent their constituents back in the district. And so there were many sort of discrete steps in that process, all involving different kinds of data, but each one of them related to this bigger question of how racial interests are represented in Congress.